LeBron James all the way in.
And here comes Simmons the other way, 3-on-2. Simmons eludes the defender and lays it in with that. Certainly the length altered that shot. Out of the quick steps.
All right, guys, we're back. We got to talk about probably the biggest surprise. We never give our games of the week anymore. I don't know why we don't do that.
We should do it today, though.
We should do it today. But the game that we should have made game of the week was the Rockets versus the Warriors. Of course, this was round 3. Or was it round 4? I can't remember. Other than that, I know the Rockets are now 2-1 against this team. Basically, the story of this game was it came down to the last quarter, basically. The Rockets were, they almost blew like a 20-point lead. Or like, it was a very big lead that they almost blew again.
They tried.
But the Rockets came down, hit some threes in the clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul also hit some good jumpers, except for a couple of them. But either way, it was a good game from the Warriors. It was a good game from the Rockets. Entertaining to watch. And in the end, the Rockets won. Basically, my question is that although this doesn't really determine the series at all, do you think it gives the Rockets a confidence boost going into their series if they do end up meeting in the Western Conference Finals or if they end up meeting in the playoffs sometime?
I think yes, but I think they didn't really. I feel like they're already like overconfident. Not overconfident, but I feel like they're supremely confident.
Yeah.
It just seems like the composition of this team. That's kind of like that's what they're built around, is that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this game, and you look at the series so far. I think it's telling of what they've said. Like, their focus is on the Warriors. Mm-hmm. This team is composed in a manner that they feel like is the best to beat the Warriors in a 7-game series. And if they didn't get a giant confidence boost from this one, I think they should. Because I think the hard work and what Daryl Morey and D'Antoni and Harden and Chris Paul have all tried to create here is really, it's working, Yeah. It's definitely working because the Warriors, they had everybody, They had their whole squad together and they still lost. So there's no excuse of like they're missing one of their best players from an injury or whatever the case. So I like it. I really like it. That's a big showing for the Rockets, And I was kind of worried about this game coming in with the whole Clippers drama and just, James Harden being kind of fresh back within the last week or so. But, my worries were misplaced because they kind of handled him, They kind of handled him. It was not really there was no moment where you felt like, in my mind, even like just, and I should divulge, I didn't actually watch the whole game. I watched the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then highlights of the first 3 quarters, but I didn't feel like it was really that close in the end. Mm-hmm. So, it's a good win for them. What do you think, Bernie?
Yeah, just watching the game, the Warriors got a great win. Of course, they had a couple players suspended. They should have had more players suspended, to be honest. Trevor Ariza, Gerald Green.
Yep.
But I also think Clint Capella, Chris Paul, and James Harden should have gone suspended as well for the little altercation with the Clippers. There's more to that story a little bit. But, other than that, I think that this was a great win for the Rockets. I think it does give hope that the Rockets do have what it takes to beat the Warriors. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the Warriors are kind of sweating it too much.
No.
I mean, this was probably the poorest performance I've ever seen from Klay Thompson. 3 for 11. 8 points only.
Yeah, it's pretty poor.
The thing is, they got a lot of good scoring from Draymond Green.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry also didn't play his best either. He was only 5 for 15 from 3-point land, 2 for 4 from the free throw line. So obviously, it looks like there was, I wouldn't say maybe like a discrepancy in calls, but it definitely looked like Steph Curry wasn't getting favorable going to the line. And that's just due to the fact that he's just a 3-point shooter. Kevin Durant went to the line a little bit. James Harden only went to the line 1 time. That's crazy. But
that is crazy for him.
I just think it's how the NBA officials should be calling it.
Yeah.
Once the playoffs start, it's going to be a different animal. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be waiting to see with the Rockets how they're going to handle that. Only the fact that D'Antoni, he's not really a half-court system guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see how they're going to kind of operate an offense around that team. But like I said, it was a great entertaining for the fans. It was great entertaining for the players. It was just a great game overall. Nothing else to really harp on for any of these guys. Just a great game.
It was a goodie. I agree.